Now, a second British police force has initiated an investigation in response to allegations of harassment and stalking against actor and comedian Russell Brand. These allegations emerged after reports by the Sunday Times newspaper and Channel 4 TV's Dispatches documentary program, where 4 women accused Brand of historic sex offences. The 48-year-old has vehemently denied these very serious criminal allegations, asserting on his social media platforms that he has never engaged in non-consensual sex. In the wake of these allegations, corporations such as YouTube suspended the comedian from making money from adverts, while the BBC has removed all of its content relating to Brand. Joining me now is author and broadcaster Tonia Buxton. Tonia, what are your thoughts on this whole saga and also this second investigation that's been opened?
Well, it feels very much like a witch hunt. And one of the things that we are supposed to have in this country is innocent until proved guilty. Now, he hasn't even been charged yet, and he has had trial by media. I've never seen anything like it before. It is absolutely incredible the way that they've gone for him. And the thing about Russell Brand is that he has admitted that he was a sex addict. He was also a heroin addict and an alcoholic. And he says that he treated women very badly. He's actually repented for all of this. From what I can gather, he's happily married now. He's just had his 3rd child with his wife. He does a lot of good work. And yet the media would have it that he is this absolute sex pest. Now, I don't know whether he is or not. I know that he did behave very badly in the early noughties, and he admits it all. But the way the media has gone for him is just unbelievable and unprecedented ever before to have this type of witch hunt.
Now, these allegations are certainly very serious, but like you say, they are allegations at this point. Do you think the move by companies like YouTube to demonetise him undermine the due process we're all entitled to and the entire concept of innocent until proven guilty?
Absolutely, it completely. But also they're cherry picking who they want to defund and who they don't want to defund. Just to say, there was a rapper, so I'm just looking up his name, Tory Lane. He shot a woman in the feet while screaming, "Dance, B-word, dance." He's in prison for 10 years. Yet YouTube is still monetizing his YouTube. He's still making money from his YouTube. He's a convicted criminal. So I don't understand where someone hasn't even been tried, hasn't even had a police investigation aimed at him. He hasn't been called in by the police at all. They're just looking at things. He is an innocent man until proved guilty. How YouTube feel that it is their right to go in and stop someone making a living. He's a father of 3. He's a married man. On what grounds do they think that they're capable of doing that? What's even more shocking for us Brits is that our MPs have written to Rumble to ask them to think about taking down his platform there and stop him from being monetized there. They've written for the channel that I work to, the channel that I work for, which is GB News, to reflect on one of the other presenters who spoke in defence of innocent until proved guilty on our show. It's incredible the amount of high-level people that are coming into this and trying to accuse this man who is still innocent, to bring him down, who has yet to have a charge against him. It's you have to wonder, when he was in the late noughties working for the BBC and Channel 4 and behaving really badly and getting away with everything and almost encouraged to behave badly, no one was saying anything because he was the lovey of the left then. The left loved him. He used to write for The Guardian, for goodness sake. But since he has repented, he has woken up and he is really spewing, as it were, a lot of truths that are happening at the moment about Big Pharma, about globalists, about world views on things, the way that the big globalists are controlling the world, and also the lack of our freedom in these countries. We feel we're in a democratic country, but we're not. Our democracies and our freedoms are being infringed upon constantly. Do you think this is the reason that they've gone for him now? I don't know.
Well, yes, when he was a deviant commie and supporting Jeremy Corbyn, we weren't hearing any of these stories, and certainly we didn't have members of the press and even politicians campaigning for him to be deplatformed. That's what makes me uncomfortable. I mean, if he's guilty of any of the things he's been accused of, then lock him up, throw away the key. But until there is due process, there's actually allegations that are tested in a court of law, you can't deprive someone of their livelihood. Now, you mentioned GB News. Columnist Alison Pearson has written a fantastic piece in defence of GB News in The Telegraph following the channel's recent controversies. There have been calls from within the leftist establishment to shut down the Conservative news station following off-colour comments made by presenter Lawrence Fox last week. Tonia, it's clear that many of the elite in the UK are not comfortable with the mere existence of GB News, the fact that it provides audiences with a different point of view.
Absolutely. I mean, it's completely outrageous. And again, it's such a one-sided view. You know, when some of these other people have said terrible things on live television, or not even live, they've actually broadcast things like hoping that Nigel Farage has had acid thrown in his face. That's what Jo Brand said. She was disappointed that it was milkshake thrown at him. Why not battery acid? Or we've had actresses Miriam Margolis say that she hopes Boris dies of COVID. I mean, nothing happens not to the presenter, not to the broadcaster then, but now everyone's trying to take down GB News. And the reality is they're frightened. GB News has just grown and grown in strength. Many times we outrate Sky and the BBC because we are the channel of the people. GB News is the channel of the people, and they are telling truths that most channels don't say, that every other channel is just taking a straight line, basically saying what everybody else says. And they just don't like the fact that we are rocking the boat. And it's incredible that we've had people like Katie Rozelle of BBC who said that we are polluting the public debate. So by actually giving a debate, we have both sides. I have some really heated debates with some amazing left-leaning or extreme left people that come and commentate at GB News. I mean, they get quite heated. It's great. But there's always both sides of the story. And that's what's really, really lacking in Britain at the moment on television. And I think the main thing is that the common man is represented by GB News. We are the people's channel because all the other mainstream media and the BBC have just let them down. And what's proof of that is at the moment it's the Conservative Party conference, and both Priti Patel and Liz Truss have stated just that GB News is a refreshing channel that's not giving in to the woke left agenda and actually giving the people what they want to hear.
Absolutely. And like you said, I called it a conservative outlet, but really it's a balanced outlet because you do hear both sides, you do have debate. And the fact that these other outlets have just got used to pushing this echo chamber view, often at odds with the majority of the population. I mean, Brexit showed that. I mean, how many people in the media were actually presenting the views of Brexit supporters, honestly, during that entire debate?